All right. So good evening, everyone. We're on our last session for tonight. So thank you for taking the time to listen in to the next amazing university with us today for our 2022 College Fair. And first things first, thank you to our sponsors, the Princeton Review Philippines, AUG Student Services, LIMS Review Center, Study International Philippines, AIM Review Philippines, International College of Liberal Arts at Yamanashi Gakuin University, Queen's University, and Syracuse University. Now, I am happy to introduce today's speaker representing the International College of Liberal Arts at Yamanashi Gakuin University. They will be here with us for an hour to present about the academics, student life, and more about their university. And after the presentation, they can also answer any questions you might have for them. So to our attendees, if you have any questions at any point during the talk, please feel free to send them through the Q&A feature. I will also link an interest form in the chat if you want your contact details to be forwarded to the International College of Liberal Arts at Yamanashi Gakuin University. So just scroll down to the appropriate day and you should see their name and a link to the form. And to our speakers, at the end of your information session, please feel free to scroll through the questions in the Q&A and answer those you wish to, or do let us know if you would like any of the camp representatives to facilitate the Q&A. So this session will be recorded. And without further ado, I give the floor to Sir Daniel. So take it away.
Thank you very much, Nick. Hello, everyone. Thank you for sticking around to watch this presentation. My name is Daniel Geis. I'm the Senior International Marketing Officer for the International College of Liberal Arts. We are a department of Yamanashi Gakuin University. And I hope the moderator will tell me if there's any issues with my audio or the presentation, but I assume that's okay and keep going. So in a nutshell, we offer a Bachelor of International Liberal Arts with majors in business and economics, political science, interdisciplinary arts, and Japan studies. It is taught entirely in English, and there's a wide range of electives you can take as well, like data science, psychology, and sociology, and more, including Japanese language as well. So it's taught in English, and you can study Japanese while you're here as part of the degree if you want to. But yeah, in detail, I mean, there's some very good reasons why Japan is becoming more and more popular as a study destination. For one, you are guaranteed a very high quality of education. Japan is, number 3 economy in the world, and was number 2 for a very long time, but it's a highly regulated economy, and that extends to the education system here. So you're guaranteed a education and a degree that will be recognized internationally. You'll be able to use it wherever you end up. And many people think that Japan is quite expensive, but once you are here, Japan is a very affordable destination. Students can work part-time, you can support your living expenses while you're here. And the tuition fees compared to many destinations like America, the UK, Canada, my home country of Australia, are much lower. The reason for that is that domestic students, so Japanese students and international students, pay the same fees. So unlike those other countries I mentioned, international students are not subsidizing the fees of many domestic students. So it's a very affordable destination. As you guys probably know, Japan is a very safe country. Crime rate is extremely low. Crimes against foreigners pretty much unheard of. Yes, we have earthquakes and typhoons, but the building standards are extremely high. So loss of life from natural disasters is very rare. So it's a very safe country. Those stories you've heard of people leaving their wallet on the train or something or somewhere and getting it back with all their money in it, those are true. I haven't lost a wallet, but I've lost a bag, and I got a bag with everything in it. So, it's a very, very safe place. Now, the next two really go together. They are internationalization and employability. So Japan, as I said, #3 economy in the world, but it has a small problem, a pretty large one actually. Its population is aging and shrinking. So that means there's less young workers going into the workforce. So, you know, with Japan's corporations and as active around the world as they are, they're really looking to internationalize, and increasingly they're looking to hire foreign graduates from Japanese universities. So there are a lot of job opportunities here, and some of them do not even require you to be, you know, native level speaker of Japanese. So there are skill shortages opening up in many different industries, in tech, in finance, the kind of industries that our students graduate and go on to work in. So, but you know, most importantly, it is just an amazing place to live. Actually, tomorrow is my 12th anniversary of moving to Japan, so I can't get enough, and I'm sure you won't be able to either. You know, the way that they, you know, balance the ancient and the modern, the natural and the built environment, and respect the environment is something that's really, you know, great to see and great to experience. By the way, this photo is taken about 30 minutes south of the campus, Chirito Pagoda there. You know, the food is great. You know, I'm sure you guys have all had Japanese food, but trust me, there's nothing like the real thing once you're here. So you can experience all of that and all of those local dishes that, you know, you can't get at a sort of Japanese restaurant outside of Japan. You know, you can experience the crazy nightlife of somewhere like Japan, like Tokyo, or like Osaka. But you know, also experience, you know, the culture and, you know, the calm and the peaceful moments. You know, the shrines, the temples, and the hot springs as well. We have plenty of them here. So, you know, your quality of life as a student in Japan is just fantastic. And many students, both degree-seeking students and exchange students, really comment on that. You know, that it is such a great experience for them. You know, liberal arts is something that maybe not all students are familiar with, but you know, there's some great reasons why you should consider it. For one, it is a bit broader. You're encouraged to take more electives than you would be in, you know, another degree where you might be just railroaded between, you've got the courses for your major, the courses for your minor, and not a lot of flexibility to pursue outside interests. But with a liberal arts degree, you really do. So it's very interdisciplinary. You know, there's a core curriculum as part of the first year, for example, where encouraging you to go deep into topics, but also to go wide as well. We're trying to teach you that there are cause and effect relationships between business and economics and politics. These things impact culture and art. These cycles repeat over history. So, you know, if you're armed with a more interdisciplinary approach to decision making, you'll make better investment choices, you'll make better career choices as well. So, you know, we're really teaching you here how to be critical, creative, independent, and global in your thinking. It's very active. You know, you've got smaller class sizes. There's more debate, discussion in the classroom. And all of this teaches you not only the technical knowledge, and that's what liberal arts means. It means art in the term of a learned skill, right? So you're learning that technical knowledge from your major, but you're also developing a lot of soft skills, a lot of those, you know, really important communication skills, like cross-cultural understanding, ability to communicate across cultures, to be empathetic in your decision making, that employers really want. And you see in the States, Georgetown did research on this. They said, let's look at the ROI, the return on investment for a liberal arts degree compared to a similar, say, business or pol sci degree at a similar 4-year university. So taught slightly differently. So the return on investment over a 40-year timescale, so over the whole career, of the average liberal arts graduate was about $1 million. Whereas with a similar degree, different style of university, more traditional, if you want to put it that way, although you could argue that liberal arts is the more traditional style of university, but that was only $750,000. So what does that show you? That means that liberal arts graduates go further in their careers. They go higher up the ranks of corporations. And you can see some very famous liberal arts graduates, and like CEO of YouTube, CEO of Starbucks, various Supreme Court justices in the United States, and the most famous dropout of a liberal arts college, I guess, was Steve Jobs as well. So, some really good reasons why you should consider it. Someone has asked in the chat, so I will get to that. I will answer that question coming up. So bear with me. So concretely, what makes it different? First, you have a common curriculum in that first year. So you take some of the core units from our different majors, and it's actually only at the end of your first year that you declare your major. So, you get the experience of, what our teaching staff is like, what our style is like, what the degree will really be like to major in, and then you make that final decision, which is, I think, really great. So you have time. You can learn more about your strengths and your interests, and then you can make that final decision. Another big difference is class sizes. At iCLA, our classes are typically 10 to 15 students. So like I said, a lot more interaction between you and the professors. Our students comment that, they have some of the professors on speed dial. Our exchange students always comment, they're like, it's crazy that professors know students' names, or so many, pretty much everybody, because that's not the case at the university that they're coming from. So again, focus on going deep, and much broader choice of electives. And I'll talk about some of our options in a moment. iCLA, to answer the question in the Q&A, is located about 90 minutes from central Tokyo. So there's a direct train from Shinjuku, for anyone that's been here before, to the city of Kofu. So it's the capital of Yamanashi Prefecture, which borders parts of Tokyo. It's well known as the home of Mount Fuji. We have about 3/4 of the mountain, and people that are typically coming here to climb it or go to climb Mount Fuji, they will come through Yamanashi. So it's a nice town. Bit more relaxed than Tokyo, with a much smaller population and a much lower cost of living as well. So a bit more relaxed, but you still got great access to Tokyo. It's very easy to get in there. Population of about 300,000 people in total, and we have these great views of Mount Fuji all throughout the year. It's quite a historic downtown. It was a famous area in Japanese history, very important area of Japanese history, and quite popular with people to come from Tokyo, from Yokohama, for camping, fishing, hiking, cycling, golf, you name it, and also to climb this thing, so and the other mountains. So we're absolutely surrounded by mountains here. It's very beautiful all year round. So very popular. And we also have, I'd say, Japan's best theme park, Fuji-Q Highlands. Is about 40 minutes drive from the campus as well. So if you want to go and do this to yourself, you can. It's not my cup of tea, but it's certainly possible. We have a full 4 seasons here. It's quite hot here in summer, but in spring, cherry blossoms, in the autumn, with the leaves changing, and some of the hiking trails here, very beautiful and very mild weather. It's fantastic. So these beautiful spots, easy access from the city. It does snow occasionally in winter, but don't worry, it's generally just cold. But this area is full of vineyards and orchards. So again, lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, much cheaper than in Tokyo as well. So it's a nice place to live. YGU is a private, not-for-profit university that has been around since just after the Second World War, during the Reconstruction. We have about 4,000 students on campus, and there's about 250 enrolled in iCLA's program at the moment. YGU is quite famous in Japan for the number of Olympians that have graduated from here. So come to the questions at the end, guys. I see you're digging in there. It's good. Keep them coming. We offer liberal arts in English, but we also have departments of law, business, health and nutrition, and sports science taught in Japanese. So we also have a postgrad school. Unfortunately, that also is only taught in Japanese. But yeah, so generally we're here to talk about iCLA. Again, we offer a Bachelor of International Liberal Arts. Students come from all over the world. We have many Filipino students, and overall it's about 60% international students. So you're not just learning about Japan, you're learning about the nationalities of 39 other countries as well. So, or maybe 38 because you've already got your own. And we, again, have a great student to faculty ratio. So for every 5 students, we have 1 faculty member. So you get a lot of access, a lot of face time with your professors. And again, it is taught in English. You do not need to speak any Japanese to apply to iCLA. We offer 4 majors at the moment. They are Global Business and Economics, Pol-Sci, Interdisciplinary Art, and Japan Studies. As I said, you do that core curriculum in the first year, which includes some Japanese classes, some academic English, some math if you need it, all based on your current level and what you've done in high school. And then you have this really great choice of electives and cultural workshops. You can take electives in the subject areas. There are no minors in Japan, but we offer electives. If you took all of these, it'd probably be equivalent to doing a minor at another university, but we offer electives in data science, psychology and sociology, quantitative reasoning, so more math, more coding, and natural sciences and martial arts as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment, as well as our Japanese language program and our study abroad program as well. I'll talk about these things in a moment, but just to say, within each of these majors, there are pathways. So you can focus on the areas that most matter to you and that most meet your career goals. So, you know, interdisciplinary art is a very interesting major. You actually will do take units in, you know, 3 or 4 of those mediums, and then in your 3rd and 4th year, you'll whittle that down to your primary medium of artistic expression. So, yeah, I know you guys can read faster than I can speak and read this out to you, so I won't do that. But please ask me any questions at the end as well about the pathways. So yeah, something that we're quite proud of at iCLA is we have these 10-week hands-on credit-bearing workshops that you can do. All kinds of martial arts, Aikido, Judo, Karate. With these workshops where you get, you know, deeper into Japanese arts, both modern like manga and anime. You can do graphic design, but also more traditional like ikebana, calligraphy, the tea ceremony. We have our own room for this on the campus. You can learn more about samurai culture, about Fuji culture, about Fuji, you know, sort of religious practices as well. You can learn how to play a Japanese musical instrument like the koto or the shakuhachi, or you can learn more about Japanese theater like no and kabuki as well. So yeah, they're very cool, very popular with our students. Like I said at the beginning, you don't need to speak any Japanese to apply to iCLA. We'll do a level check when you are doing the orientation, and we will put you in an appropriate level for you. All the classes are taught in English, apart from obviously the Japanese classes. So And once you get up to a much higher level, if you're interested in taking the Japanese language proficiency test, we have workshops that can help you prepare for those exams as well, because they're quite useful when you're doing the job hunting, if you want to stay in Japan long term. But yeah, between taking our classes, working part-time, making friends with Japanese people, both in iCLA, in the broader YGU community, in the clubs and societies, and outside the campus, you can absolutely become fluent in Japanese within 4 years, whilst you get a degree in English. So many of our students will do study abroad in their 3rd year. It's optional for our international students, but they can, it doesn't extend the length of your degree. All of the credits you do count towards a graduation. And we have partners in over 30 countries, including all throughout North America, Canada, America, down in Mexico, some in Africa, a lot of them in the UK and in Europe, and throughout Asia and Australia as well. We have partners in Perth and Sydney. We are a partner of Ateneo, but there is one rule: you can't go back to your home country for study abroad, so we'll have to pick somewhere else. But it's a great option because it's a very cheap way to see another country and to study in another country. And if you have a scholarship, that extends to your year abroad as well. So you just have to pay your living costs. But yes, the fees you pay for that year are that lower iCLA fee, and our fees are, as I said before, often much lower than our partner universities. So it's quite light, open, eco-friendly, building. It was opened in 2015. It has all kinds of amenities there. There's a cafeteria on site. We have a student lounge, music studio, art studio, martial arts dojo, tea ceremony room, beautiful roof garden, data science labs, library on site, and all kinds of study areas as well. So it's quite a functional home and learning environment for our students. I say that because the dorms are actually attached to the main building of iCLA. We have accommodation on site, and the housing is actually guaranteed for all first-year students. It's so guaranteed that you have to live there. It is mandatory to stay there for 12 months, and you do get your own room. So you're just sharing bath and toilet facilities with the 8 other students in your unit. And as I said, it's very new building, so it's in great condition as well. And I said there's a cafeteria, so there's a meal plan for students to be in as well. If you're very lucky, that could be the view you could have of Mount Fuji out of your bedroom window. But don't worry, there are some pretty epic views of the Southern Alps of Japan from the other angle, or the Kanto Mountains, Mount Kimfu to the north and to the east as well. So a very beautiful location. There's always something going on around campus. We have lots of sort of festivals. We recently had the Tanabata Festival and our summer gala, which was really great. There's all kinds of cultural events going on. Students have organized their own clubs as well. And in the broader YGU community, there's over 90 clubs as well. So if you want to take your Japanese to the next level, you can apply for, or you can join those and make friends. It's very much something that our students do as well. There's lots of sporting facilities around campus. So if you are super serious about your sports, you could try out for that. But there's also a lot of casual things going on as well. So yeah. Applications to iCLA are done completely online at apply.icla.ygu.ac.jp. Like the previous presenters as well, we conduct a holistic review that is very much in the liberal arts ethos. So your grades are very important, but what this means is there's no minimum GPA for scholarship applications or for the main application to iCLA. And we are standardized test optional as well. So as a Filipino student, you just need to have completed 12 years of education. And you can apply using your high school results. You don't need the university entrance exam of Filipino university. You do not need to go and sit an SAT or SAT, or an ACT test. So, and again, you do not need to speak any Japanese. If you do, great, but we don't actually include that. It'll just save you some, having to spend some credits doing elementary Japanese lessons. So, and again, as a Filipino student, we will use your Year 12 English grades for your English proficiency. So you do not need to take IELTS as well. So again, you'll just need to supply your high school diploma, and we are SAT optional. If you've done a university entrance exam like the SAT or the ACT or something else, please include it. Those results are always welcome. They can help your application as well. If you are doing the international IB diploma or Cambridge A levels, that's great. Many of our students have come through that pathway as well. You can apply using predicted results. So if you are at an international school in the Philippines, you can get predicted results statements from your counselor, and you can apply early, which will help you with scholarship applications as well. And again, as Filipino students or as students doing the Cambridge A level or the IB diploma, you won't need to take an IELTS. Okay. Cool. You can see our fees on screen. I went in and edited this before today's presentation, and I can tell you that it's getting cheaper versus the peso to the yen. So even better time to be coming to Japan. So I mean, in total, for tuition and for the dorm rent fees and the meal plan in the cafeteria, it would be a little bit over 1 million pesos a year. You can reduce this. However, we offer scholarships, and I'm sure I haven't looked at the Q&A for a little while, but I'm sure many of you are asking about this and wondering about this. But yes, we do offer a scholarship. To apply is very simple. You need to submit an extra essay with your application to iCLA. And if you are successful, we will tell you at the same time as your main application result is given to you. So you don't apply separately, it's with the main application. We offer 4 tiers of the scholarship, from 25 up to 50, 75, and then full 100% waiver of the tuition, facility, and equipment fees. Please note the scholarship does not cover living expenses or the dorm. There are government stipends and foundational scholarships you can apply for that. However, there are many different scholarships you can apply for in Japan, which again is one of those things that makes Japan great. So I will say as well, students can work up to 28 hours a week in Japan, and the minimum wage is typically about 980 yen an hour. So you can earn about $1,000 US a month, a bit less given the exchange rate now, but definitely enough to help support your living expenses, but you would need support with the tuition fees. iCLA has 2 intakes every year. They are spring and fall, which means April 1st and September 1st every year. We are currently taking applications for our spring or April 2023 intake, and we will close those on November 22nd of this year. For our September 2023 intake, We will open applications on September 1st. So if you're a student that's, maybe thinking a couple of years in the future or 3 years in the future, we open applications 1 year in advance of the intake. So please keep that in mind. The website again is apply.icla.ygu.ac.jp. Unlike some other Japanese universities, you do not need to mail anything to us. It's all online, and there is an application fee of 7,000 yen. All students that apply will get an interview, and you will typically get the result 4 to 6 weeks after you apply. So it's quite a speedy process. All right. So what can you do with this degree? I mean, it's a very important question that you should have. Now, we help to prepare you for life after iCLA, for the workforce, with career design classes. We get you thinking about that right from year one. That is part of the core curriculum, career design. And we have a variety of partners, so we can help you get an internship. Many of our students will do more than one, actually. As I mentioned before, we have workshops that can support you to get the higher levels of the JLPT, so N2 and N1. Now, Japan, like I said, with those employment opportunities, many Japanese students, well, most Japanese students and increasingly foreign students, will do job hunting activities in their 4th year of university. And most students leave university with multiple job offers. So you can go straight from being a student into working. And it's very easy for a Japanese employer to sponsor the visa of an international student. And there is no limit to the amount of time you can live here if you are employed. And there's then pathways onto PR as well. Sorry, there's a mosquito in this room with me. If you haven't found a job, there is a post-study visa extension. You can go job hunting for 6 months. But then, as I said, you've got a wide variety of choices generally. Our students are going into some really interesting careers, everything from finance through to marketing, working for NGOs, working as freelance artists, audio engineers, working in tourism, hospitality, you name it. So depending on what courses you've taken during the major, you have a really wide variety of options open to you. Liberal arts is also a great springboard for postgrad, and some of our graduates that have chosen that path are going to some really excellent institutions, both in Asia and Europe, the UK, etc. If you do wish to make Japan your home long term, as I have, there are both points and time-based pathways to permanent residency as well. I would say that because of its population issues, Japan has the most friendly immigration policies of any G7 or G20 nation at this point in time. So it's a great place to live, trust me. So yeah, that's it from me. I'm going to open the Q&A. I can see there are many of your questions here, so let's get into it. Okay, so someone's asked a great question here. I'm going to answer these live. Someone has asked, what qualities do students at your school normally possess? I think one of them is quite often there's a bit of a love for Japan or an interest in a long-standing interest in Japan. But beyond that, intellectual curiosity is the most important quality, and the quality that I see from people. People who are very globally minded. Our students come from a very diverse array of both not only sort of ethnic, but socioeconomic and religious backgrounds. It's an extremely tolerant environment. It's very close knit. So we're only 250 students. That is growing every year, but it's one of the most supportive environments I think I've ever witnessed. Like it's really great how the students all sort of know each other, even from fourth year down to first year. You know, people remark it's very easy to make friends at this university, and it is a very welcoming and supportive environment because everyone's, you know, come to this place to be on this journey academically and to, you know, be in Japan. So it is great to see. I hope that answered your question. Somebody has asked, you know, do we offer full scholarships? Again, we offer from 25 to 50, 75, and 100% waiver of the tuition, facility, and equipment fees. So in that sense, yes, we offer a full scholarship, but we don't offer a full scholarship like your flights and your living expenses and your food, etc. I will say every student, once they have enrolled, so accepted an offer, paid our enrollment fee, and they're coming to Japan, we get every student to apply for a JASO scholarship. And this is a government stipend, basically, that's paid to like 80, 90% plus of students who apply. And that will pay you, I think, about 40,000 yen per month, either for 6 or for 12 months, depending on when you arrive. So that can really help you get on your feet, but you know, while you're learning some Japanese and looking for a part-time job. You know, there are often scholarship opportunities that, you know, the admin team will let you know about, and you can apply for those as well. And quite often you can stack them with our academic merit scholarship. I should say on our scholarship as well, I don't think I said this, but primarily it's academic merit, but we also look at any extracurricular achievement that you have and your family's financial situation. Oh, Dominic's, thank you very much for this question. Dominic's has asked, you know, what are nice places to visit near the university? This place is very popular with people, you know, for getaways from Tokyo. You know, you can get out of the concrete jungle and come to nature. There are so many good like hot springs that are around here. Going into town, there's lots of, you know, restaurants, bars, cafes. There's, you know, a great mall down the road as well. But then, you know, some of the tourist spots as well. There's lots of really nice shrines like Takeda Jinja, Erenji, that are really great to go and see. The Chueto Pagoda I showed you a photo of. So you can, you know, get a bus, do a day trip south of here and visit like Kawaguchiko, Motosu, you know, all the lakes around Fuji. Fuji Kawaguchiko is really cool as well. You know, you could visit Fuji-Q Highlands, you know, which is a great theme park here. It's got a bunch of like world record holding or former world record holding roller coasters. You know, if you get out a little bit, like Kabuchizawa is really nice, Hokkaido is really nice. Yeah, there's a lot to see and do around here. So I hope that answered your question as well. So someone's asked, you know, is the living costs in Japan high? I'm going to say that it depends on your sort of expectations of lifestyle. If you want to party hard, then yeah, Japan can be expensive. But I come from Australia, which has a notoriously high cost of living. You know, higher wages, but I think that's it's out of control at the moment, honestly. I think Japan is paradise, honestly, in terms of cost of living. And once you are outside of Tokyo or Osaka, etc., then the cost of living drops off dramatically. So we're not in Tokyo. We're about 120 kilometers due west of the center of Tokyo. But we still have obviously great access to Tokyo. I can tell you, because I've lived and worked in Tokyo, that it's very much cheaper out here. Fresh fruit and vegetables are a lot cheaper in this area. Rent is a lot cheaper in this area. And once you get outside of a major city, it's like, if you were going to go and live in, is it like Makati, like, Metro Manila? It's a lot more expensive than living, further out. So it's a little bit like that, I think. But you can support yourself with a part-time job here, and I think being a student is challenging financially. I've been there myself, obviously, but there are things you can do about it. So I hope that answered your question as well. What would you recommend a student do on their day off? That's a great question. You might want to recover from all the studying you've been doing. But, there's always something to do with friends here. I think that, it depends on what your interests are. But I know a lot of our students will, go hiking or go to an onsen and relax, or, just chill, go to a cafe, go into town. There's a lot of things to do here. Yeah. I play golf, but I'm a bit older, so like a bit hard for me to answer that. And I should say to everyone in the audience here, you guys can see our social media links here, but there's something I want to tell you as well. Unfortunately, it's about nearly 10:30 or something here in Japan. So our students are not, and our students are currently doing final exams. So we don't have a student with us tonight. But if you go to our website, which you can see on the screen now, you will see a button or a link at the top for a chat with our students function as well. So please check that out. We have students from around the world and from each of our majors there, and they're a great source of information for that kind of question as well. You should ask them, like, what do they do on their days off? Yeah. Someone's like asked, how is student life like? I think that's a great question as well. There are a lot of clubs and societies, both that students have created in iCLA, but also in the broader YGU student body as well. So in total, there's over 90 different clubs and sports teams and societies. And that's everything from sports teams that are trying to compete at a national level through to more casual sporting groups or special interest clubs. And it's very easy to start something as well. So I know that some of our students started, like an esports club recently, because that was a need that wasn't being filled as well. And then throughout the year, there's a lot of, like, we put on galas and acoustic nights and board game nights, and I know a lot of them do D&D and stuff like that. And then, there's wider cultural events and Japanese festivals, which you've probably heard of, going on here all the time as well. So yeah. What is my favorite aspect of the uni? I think I might have answered that, but I would say just how close knit and welcoming the student body is, and how much they support each other. And I see that at a lot of the events. That really impresses me. Dominic's, I think, sorry, I'm going to try and get through these. I've got about 15 minutes left, and thank you for bearing with me. I think I answered this earlier in the presentation, but yeah, our graduates have gone on to everything from, as I said, like finance, working for hedge funds, marketing, through to working for NGOs. A lot of them go on to pol sci and then also do these things. And a lot of them working as sort of in the arts, in the creative fields, tourism, hospitality, you name it. So yeah. Our most popular major is global business and economics, and then equally split amongst the other three. Do we support financial aid? We offer the tuition reduction scholarship, but beyond that, you would need to sort that out in your home country. Do we need to know Japanese? I think I answered this about 3 times. No. No Japanese required. Can you learn another language aside from Japanese? In your own time, yes. I know there's a lot of Mexican students and they're teaching other students Spanish. But that's a private thing. We don't offer language classes apart from Japanese at this time. But there's a Confucius Center on the campus, so you can take some of their sort of Chinese, like their Mandarin lessons as well if you wanted to do that. Are there opportunities to study classes in full Japanese outside the program, i.e. to take business or law units or sports science units or health and nutrition units, for example, outside of IC's program? Honestly, at this time, no, but that is something that they're looking into. Great question. Student, I've answered that. Student to teacher ratio is teacher to student, if you want to flip it around the other way. There is 1 member of faculty for every 5 students. Sports are a big thing at this university. You'll see kids working out and training all the time. Our students, not so much, but perhaps they're more academically inclined or more focused on their studies rather than on their club activities, but because that is a big thing in Japanese university life. But yeah, if you want to try out for a team or even just do casual things, yes, you can definitely do that. Do students stay in Japan after they graduate, or do they go back home to work? The answer to this is both. So from the data that we have, and of course people quite often come back to Japan, but we sort of do our survey sort of 6 to 12 months out and see where people are at. About a third of the students go on to postgrad, about a third remain in Japan, and about a third will go to either their home country or to another country to work. So, and they can be working in Japan-related corporations or something completely different if they go home. So, yeah, it's a real mix. But the employment rate is in the 90%. So, what kind of students do we look for? Ria, I think I've pretty much answered this before, but intellectually curious, globally minded, and willing to really get a very cross-cultural and academically in-depth education. Can you join sports teams? Potentially, you can try out for them. Definitely, you can try out, but they are super serious. They're crazy, crazy serious about it. You would be doing a lot of training. Do we require IELTS? For Filipino students, we do not require IELTS. We will take the high school English results that you have in your transcripts, and we will use that as proof of your English ability. Also, you will have an interview as well. I know you said you are test optional, but what is the average SAT, ACT at the university? I honestly, I'm going to tell you, I do not know that. I would have to ask for you. So if you want to email me that question, please do, and I can check for you. But I do not have that data at this time. Can we not stay on campus as a first year if we have housing nearby? Okay, this question comes up occasionally. We even make it mandatory for Japanese students that have family in Yamanashi, like in Kofu, to live in the dorm for the first year. So the reason for this is to give you the smoothest landing into Japan, and to get you, making friends from all over the world right from day one. So, it is 12 months, then you can move out, but there are some real advantages to having that support network around you right from day one. So unfortunately, it is mandatory. I would say fortunately it's mandatory. It's also very difficult to find housing in Japan if you don't already live here. Often people say, oh, can I live with my family? And we say, where does your family live? And they say, Yokohama. And I say, okay, are you going to commute 3 hours every day to come to university? So yeah, sometimes we get questions like that as well. Dominic, unfortunately, the application fee cannot be waived. My favorite memories of this university are definitely the events, like the musical galas. I went to one last Friday before. Tanabata was a week before that. They're great events. Yes, this is a great question. And actually, there is some information on this on our website about the differences between sort of what the aspects of the Japanese school calendar. This is why we have an April intake. Everything in Japan is around this. The financial year, school year, is based around April 1st. So it is more around the Japanese school calendar. We have 2 semesters, but there is between April and December, we fit the 2 semesters in, and then there is a sort of non-teaching period, January, February, March. So that is a great time to either go home or to do internships in Tokyo or in Kofu, and that's why a lot of our students have done more than one. Or travel around Japan. It's also good. How big is the Filipino community in iCLA? I think we have about between 5 and 10 Filipino students currently enrolled. We try to admit small numbers of students from many, many different countries rather than being reliant on particular student intakes. So if you catch my meaning. So yeah, but we can possibly put you in touch with Filipino students and graduates as well if you email us. Are there, Maxine? Yes, there are. Yes, there are. There's one about 10, 15 minutes drive up a hill. That only takes that long because you have to go sort of halfway up a mountain to get to it. There's a golf club, student club for golf here as well. And there are absolutely heaps of golf courses in Yamanashi. Absolutely heaps. It's one of the best things to do here. The other thing that's great to do is ride your motorcycle because of all the mountains as well. But yeah, all right. Thank you very, very much, guys, for all of your questions. Yeah, like I say, you can see our contact information on the screen here. You've been a great audience. Thank you so much for all of your questions. And I guess it's sort of last chance to type any in if you have them. Otherwise, I'll hand back to Nix. Okay.
We actually received like a lot of questions. So thank you so much, Daniel, for taking your time to answer.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We might have to wrap up our session since it's nearing 10 p.m. here in the Philippines. I know Japan's like I think
11.
an hour. Yeah, an hour later. Yeah. So we might have to wrap up the session, but I hope everyone was able to take note of the contact links. I'll also resend the interest form again so that everyone can keep in touch with the university. So yes, I'll send that after my outro. So thank you so much, Sir Daniel, for presenting about the International College of Liberal Arts at Yamanashi Gakuin University. So as someone who is currently curating a college list, I will definitely be considering applying, and I hope our attendees also feel the same way.
Thank you so
So,
much.
so to everyone here, if you're interested in staying in touch with and learning even more about the International College of Liberal Arts at Yamanashi Gakuin University, go ahead and fill out the interest form here that I will be sending in the chat box. And it's also in our camp link tree. So just scroll down to the appropriate day and the International College of Liberal Arts at Yamanashi Gakuin University's name. So that concludes our session for today, and a big thank you once again to Sir Daniel for joining us and to our attendees as well. You're actually the last college of our college fair, so thank you so much for being here with us and for wrapping up the college fair. So
Thank you
thank,
very much. It was our pleasure.
thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.